All right. Hello and welcome to Hot Pink Table Talk. Look, okay, cut, take two.
Take two.
We might have a blooper reel, but at least we recording. You know, it be the bloopers that go viral, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right, take two. Yes. All right. This is Hot Pink Table Talk on Hot Pink Pride Media, and I am your host, Spirit Cherie. Welcome to another exciting person of interest. Okay.
Yeah.
Today joining me is Shy Trotter. Okay. A promoter and so much more. I only know one of your titles. Okay,
Yeah.
being a multi-dimensional and multifaceted person such as yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
now we've already talked about this. We had got into some stuff, and right now we're kind of just off the muscle. Okay,
Yeah.
your bio mentions an incredible 11-year run promoting in Dallas
Yeah.
with no weekends off. Can you describe the dedication and sacrifices that entailed and what has fueled your perseverance?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I need to upgrade my bio. So I'm with like 16 years now.
Okay.
So uh man, it was just like I come from the streets, and my grandmother raised me. So I
Mhm.
come from the streets. So like even going to the clubs, like say even like the old brick back in the day, like we was young, like 15 and 16 years old with
Right.
fake IDs. So I always had the biggest crew in Dallas, and I had a big influence even on the bad side. So what happened was once I got older, once I turned like 20, 21 years old, I ended up going to prison.
Okay.
So when I went to prison, I said I had to sit down for like 2 years, and my grandma was a preacher, but like she never raised her voice, she never cursed, she never hollered, she never did anything of that sort. So one time she came to see me, and she was like, she used to call me Nika. She say, Nika, you take this and you learn your lessons from it, and you don't do it the next time. So it was just like the whole time I sat there, I said I had to get out and do something that attract me to it without want to be in the streets and make a lot of fast money, because I didn't want to disappoint her no more. So
Wow.
when I came home, I said I love being in the clubs.
Mhm.
So when I came home, that's what I did. I was like, well, I can make money from this because I know how to put people together.
That's so important, Sean, to be a person that knows how to, you know, there's one side, the business side, We were just talking that before we went live about when you're building a business and especially coming from the bad side, having that competition, people that's out here to try to sabotage what you're doing.
Yeah.
How did your time, inside prepare you for coming out, still being able to be on the bad side, but running a legitimate operation?
Well, I always been a leader since a kid. So I'm the type that I can adapt to any type of environment. And even in there, I was a leader. So it's like, and I built up to work under the warden at that time. So it was just time for me. Like I feel like that I was in the streets so deep, and I remember one night like praying, like God just get me out the streets, and I just kept praying that, and then I had the vision, like where when I went to prison and what it looked like, the bunks, what bunk I was gonna be on, and everything. I already had seen it years before I went. And it was just like, I was like, if I go to prison, I know I'm gonna have to probably do 2 years, and that's what I end up having to do later on, like years down the line. So it was just like a lot of stuff I already see it before, but I knew being in the streets, and it just like I had to get out of them. So that sitting in prison, it allowed me to go back and learn and go back and review a whole bunch of things that I probably missed and probably overlooked. And it was just like I had to change my life, because I feel like my purpose wasn't to be on the bad side. So I had to come out and make a difference because I had too much of an influence on people.
Wow. You know what? That's so important when you understand, your when you understand what God has really placed in you and your calling. If you don't, you know, commit it to the work of the Lord, then it can definitely have some really, really bad, you know,
Yeah,
consequences and outcomes, right?
yeah, definitely, definitely can.
Wow. So now, speaking of the bad side and all that kind of stuff, you started out with clubs like the Brick, and the Brick, it is for as long as it was in operation, had quite of a reputation.
Mhm.
Do you know how that started, and did it eventually lead to the closing of the club?
Well, I say the brick had been the old brick, like started with even like going back to with Betty Neal and Flawless Eyes and Big Yo and KK and them. They was like the older brick. So by the time I came in the game to be as promoting it, I started at Encore, which was at a club in Lower Greenville. Then we moved over to Copa, and it was like the biggest LGBT Sunday club that existed, and we was all young. It was myself, Yavadu, and a couple of more other promoters that was on this Sunday night. So in order to even like make it look like people was in the building, it had to be at least 600-700 people in the building to make it seem like something. So we had the longest run with that with like 6 years. And one night we was in a club, and two boys, they got killed over like a free drink. And when they got killed over a free drink, by then the new brick had was going down on White Cliff. And
Mm.
it was just like I was over it. Like I was over it. And it was just like the sisters reached out to me. They was like, my brothers got killed in the club. How dare y'all have another night open and y'all open the next night? Because it was literally the next night. The
Wow.
like because the killing happened on Saturday. And the next night it was our night, and it was wall to wall packed. This after the news and everything had showed what happened at the club the night before, and it was just like I sat there. I guess because we was doing CPR. One of my friends that passed, Nike. We was doing CPR on the dudes, trying to get them to breathe and do stuff like that. But man, one of them you could feel like the bullet moving in his chest, and it was just like the next night. It was like I couldn't. It wasn't fun to me no more.
Wow.
So by that time, I had reached out to Howard and Mikey, and Mikey was the manager at the Brick at that time. So it was just like, give me a month. I told him to give me a month. I wanted to transition over to the Brick, and that's what I did.
So how does that putting people together and being, strategic to move that quickly,
Mhm.
to a whole nother venue? I mean, what kind of business sense does that entail?
Well, me, I'm a risk taker. So I'm gonna take that risk because I feel like if I'm gonna sit back and keep second guessing it, then
Right.
it ain't. So I was able to take the risk, and I just had a lot of good standards with people to tell them, hey, come on, follow me, we going over here. And
Mhm.
that's what we did.
And do you think those good standards come from your upbringing, even though you mentioned the bad side? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because some of those things, you just don't pull it out of the air.
yeah,
Even if you walk, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? I will
yeah.
still
Fear
fear
no.
no evil.
Facts. Facts. It was what it is my grandma was a big impact in a lot of people's lives. So at that point, like being a lot of people being gay, they family don't want to be bothered with them. They don't want to, and a lot of people slip on our couch. A lot of my grandmother's house, I used to call it the orphanage
Wow.
because she won't leave you outside. She everybody. It's sometimes I'd be like, man, they don't I don't want them to come over here. And she used to be like, no, because you wouldn't want nobody to treat you like that if you needed somewhere to lay your head. So a lot of people live with us. A lot of people was around us. I helped a lot of people privately.
Hmm.
So a lot of them standards came from that, and it was a lot of respect. I had been getting respect ever since I was 15, 16 years old.
Wow.
So it was a lot of respect.
So, are there any people that you know, have given respect to where they would not mind, you know, you coming up and doing business around them and with them and putting their name on your stuff?
Oh yeah. Betty Neal. Betty Neal been a mentor for me for a long time. Ruby Scott. Ruby Scott been a mentor for me. MC Flawless Eyes. MC Flawless Eyes was my main mentor. And Bowlegs was a mentor. Bowlegs and Flawless Eyes was the first two to ever take me on tour and promoting.
That's awesome. So I guess they saw something in you, huh?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
well, you know, you mentioned bringing all the Black lesbians in different families, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to bringing that group to Marty's. Can you kind of look?
We ain't gonna be at Marty's. We're gonna be at Club Manhattan.
No, I understand, but
Oh,
you
the
mentioned it
Marty's.
in your bio as you
Oh,
know
okay, okay,
as
okay.
Marty's was, I guess, as you were helping to build that
Yep,
crowd, you brought the
the
Black
Black lesbian.
lesbians and the different families. Can you elaborate on that experience and what is it? Some people this might be their first time, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by the families?
What I mean by the families, it used to be like different families. We used to have like different families, and different groups. Some people call them groups, some people call them cliques, some people call them family. But we ended up transitioning to Marty's because the Brick had just closed. And when the Brick had just closed, I went to have a party at the old Elm and Pearl. So when I went to have a party at the old Elm and Pearl, I brought Pretty P at that time. So when I brought Pretty P, the word got back to me that the owner of the club was trying to put us in the club along with another party. They did rage parties, and his thing was he was gonna put us on a patio. And I'm like, how you gonna put us on a patio? The patio was small, like our crowd was gonna be huge, and then on top of that, it was raining. And he never, not one time, said came to me. It was just somebody that overheard him.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I had 16 hours to move a party.
Wow.
And so by that time, at the Brick, Mikey was the manager. So he had, when the Brick closed, he had ended up going to Marty's to be the manager.
Wow.
So at that time, I got on the phone because I had to, in 16 hours, I need to make a move fast.
Yeah.
And so when I did that is I ended up calling Mikey, and he told me, he was like, give me an hour. Let me make some calls. And so an hour he called back. He said, come on, let's do it. So by that time I had to transition that whole party and to Marty's from that old place that we was promoting. So we had to go in and change all the flyers and everything like that. So, but it turned out great. It was a great success, and it was wild and wild in Marty's. And ever since then, I ran years every Saturday at Marty's, which was bringing in like the different type of crowds.
Mm-hmm.
So and then it became different type of issues. So that was the thing with that, and the money thing. The
Right.
money thing became a different type of issue, and you know, it's a whole bunch of different type of things that go in when if you don't pay attention,
Right.
you
Well,
know.
that was one of my next questions was like as far as what kind of challenges you face. You mentioned, you know, a lot of names here, particularly Mikey's over at Marty's. Has
Mhm.
he always been a, you know, supportive figure in the community as far as moving the community from one place to the other?
Well, he more of a manager.
Okay.
He more of a, he can manage a club. He used to manage the old Brick also.
Mm-hmm.
So he been in it a long time. He have longevity. So that was the bond we had, and then coming from the Brick.
So did you have a kind of a shift between Marty's and between the Brick and Marty's as far as how you as far as how you promote and your approach to promoting?
Well, at that time I was still kind of promoting similar because I was still. It was just like Wherever I go, it's like I tell the crowd, "Come on, let's go. We're going this
Hmm.
way. We'll be here. We'll be here."
Okay.
So that's
So,
how that's kind of how I was playing it.
so do you think it's the loyalty of the crowd? I mean, how do you? I know that you have to build a reputation of, throwing great parties, but I mean, is this about having different venues for the same crowd or different venues for different crowds?
Well, I elevated as I went. So a lot of the people like that was part of the first part of the crowd, they went off and they most of them like married, they home. A lot of people became homebodies. That was
Right.
part. So it was just like I had to reintroduce to new people that was coming in that didn't know nothing about what was going on. So it was like I'm not gonna say loyalty because I feel like in this game, honestly, I feel like you really don't have no loyalty.
Really? Why do you say that?
I feel like it don't be no loyalty. Like people go. A lot of people, especially people that's always partying every weekend,
Hmm.
they go to wherever. You see what I'm saying? Like you can have a party and they could be done party with you all these years, but another person can have a party on the same night you have a party, and it's just like if they friends it's more talked about on this end, they'll go to that party.
Hmm.
So it's just like no loyalty. But as a promoter, you can't be in your feelings about it either.
Right. And so and that leads to another question about, when you have that, it's like how do you diversify? How do you, because you got something, I mean, this Dallas, it's something going on, you know, and you have people that are trying to attract, party goers, but also, what about getting folks like myself who come out only on an occasion every now and then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And like, so are you promoting to pull those people out because you know that,
Yeah,
you got the regulars that's gonna do what the regulars do,
yeah,
but you still have, events to promote.
yeah. I my target now. I don't kind of went older. So my
Thank you.
target then I only have parties once a month because I'm
Okay.
so
See, that's
busy.
about how I go out. See,
Yeah.
look.
So once a month, it's just like because I ran the game. I actually ran the game for years. So with no weekends off.
Hmm.
So it's like now I sit back because I'm married and then I'm an assistant to the former mayor and different type of things like that I associate with. And then I like moving around when I want to move around. When you do that every weekend, you can't move how you want to move. So
That's true. So let's back, okay, because you didn't put nothing about being no assistant to the former mayor.
yeah,
Okay, let's move in that direction. Cause yes, big moves. What's going on with that?
yeah, I'm the assistant to the former mayor, which is the Dwayne Caraway.
Okay,
So
yes, we know
he was
the.
one of the black. I think we only had two black males that existed. So he was one of them, and so I work under him, and we have different type of things. Like so, I do a lot of marketing because I'm actually in school. It's like my third year for law and my first year for marketing. So
Yes.
we do a lot of things like that. So I kind of navigate him because he don't know too much about the tech yet. So I navigate him. He got a podcast that
Okay.
we do in. So what I do is I get the celebrities, I get the different people in to get on this podcast and talk and have conversations. I get I get under their bios, I research and just make sure that when it's time to sit for him to sit down and talk, he got all the information that he needs.
Okay. Oh, well, then you know how this goes then,
Oh
because
yeah,
it's
definitely.
definitely, I wish
Yeah.
I had me the Shy Trotter like Dwayne Caraway, because
Oh
I would probably be
yeah.
more further than what I am, because I'm
Yeah.
just doing it by myself.
You sound just like him too right now.
Do I? We probably
Yeah.
from the same place,
Yeah.
somewhere just a little deep in East Texas,
Yeah.
just a
What
little
part of East
deep.
Texas? What part of East Texas you from?
Well, I'm born and raised in Dallas, but actually have been raised in Tyler, and all of my people are from Pittsburgh, Gilmer,
Oh yeah.
right?
Okay.
I'm talking about the Woodwoods.
Oh yeah. Oh
Mm.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Dangerfield, that is really Dangerfield.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh
y'all don't know nothing about that
hey,
big
y'all,
D.
y'all crunch insects with y'all toes.
Man, look, ain't worried nothing about it, honey. Ain't not worried nothing about it.
Yeah. Seriously, real.
Yes. But that is so interesting, because it's so. Is he still involved in politics, or is this something, far as you, as how is this pushing your career forward? Is this?
What he's still he's still involved in politics. So
Mhm.
so the thing about Dwayne is a people person. He for the people.
Okay.
So anybody that's for the people, we know how they go into politics, and we know how So he just and being black. So
Yeah.
and his dad was high ranked. So
Hmm.
he been in the game a long time. So, and it's just like I meet very important people, like people that build these infrastructures and different type of things. Former Dallas Cowboy players, basketball players.
Right.
I sit in the same room with them all the time, and
Okay. Well, I'm
I,
so
yeah,
glad you decided to sit with me, honey, because I received the energy of
oh
all,
yeah,
even that you have going on. And I thank God,
yeah,
that we've been able to make a connection, just on the strength of your reputation and my own. I really can appreciate that. Okay, so given your extensive experience navigating the lifestyle and the nightlife and community spaces in Dallas,
mm-hmm,
and even now in what you do with
mm-hmm.
Mr. Caraway and moving your own life forward, what, if any, role has spirituality played in your personal and professional life?
Well, spirituality has played a major part in my life. I was the type. I guess I lived so fast because when I came home, I was 23 years old. So now I'm in the clubs promoting, and I'm now surrounded. I have a lot of money. I'm surrounded by a lot of women. I'm partying, and so I think it became to a point where I kind of blindsided myself in it and surrounded in the darkness of it, and I found I lost my purpose. So when I lost my purpose, man, it was a chick. I say probably like in 2021. It
Hmm.
was a chick that inserted herself into like amongst the people, and when she inserted herself, like we became cool and everything, and we're just doing like different. And she was like, a psychic, but it's different levels of it.
Right.
So she was like, she I realized like she came around and a whole bunch of stuff was changing in my life. And like, but I was so into to women all the time. So
Right.
like if you ever wanted to get a hold of me, all you had to do is put a woman there. And
My
it was just
Lord.
yeah, exactly. And it was just like that. And then I started realizing, like I started having visions of who she was. Like one day I remember sitting on the couch next to her watching TV, and I remember looking over and seeing her being this old witch
Mm.
with gray and like salt and pepper hair. And it was just like I felt like I
It
was under
wasn't
hypnosis though.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt like I was under hypnosis, but at that time I hadn't learned the spirituality yet. I
Right.
was I was knowing because my grandma was a prophet and everything, but I didn't know for myself. And
Hmm.
when I woke up and realized, I remember praying, like it was just like she was shape shifting, and it was like she couldn't change it or couldn't take it away, or either I was just starting to see it. And I
Right.
remember like my grandmother that's passed, I remember praying to, I remember having crystal on my neck. I had an obsidian on my neck. And I remember praying to like telling my grandmother, like, please, I don't know what it is, but get me out of this, please, mama. Like, and the obsidian in my neck busted. And
Mm.
my mama ended up calling me, and she was like, I was just calling to check on you, baby, see how you was doing. But she sounded just like my grandmother. And it was just like, by then, I stayed on the phone. I was letting my mama know what's going on. So she left, and she was going like live on a lot of different things. And she was like, I remember her telling me one time, I remember her telling me like, oh yeah, you so involved with women. That's how I'm able to kill you every lifetime. This is what she told me. She said, I'm able to kill you every lifetime because of that. And it was just like, when I started watching she was leaving and having videos and different type of stuff. She said that she studied me, that they sent her to study me for 3 years before she even came to me. And then that's when I realized that she had been doing a lot of different type of magic. That's why I felt like I was under hypnosis. And
Right.
then that's what made me take
You know I believe you, right?
yeah, yes. That's what made me take a back seat. It made me take a back seat because it realized that I was so open and in the public eye, and it was something bigger than me.
Absolutely.
Something bigger than me. And for me to be a target, it realized that you sometimes people look at it like like when you say a hitman, you'll think a hitman is somebody come shoot you, and that's not always that's not always what hitmen do. And it was just like when you sit back and you look at it like, damn, this shit a movie. And I took a break from the scene for like 3 years, and I kind of I went into isolation. I moved away. I
I
went into
think we
isolation.
took that same 3-year break.
Yeah, that I think that three is important. That
Oh
three is
my
important.
God.
Yeah, that was, and I just had to learn how to cleanse. I had to learn divination. I had to learn a whole bunch of different type of stuff that you know, and it just came back. And when I came back, it was just like I was full throttle, and it was just
Is
like
there what in all of your life that can prepare you for an experience? I mean, it like that, knowing that you're dealing with a all I can say is a demonic spirit. I mean, when you know for sure, sometimes you be thinking, you know, this person is just that way,
yeah,
but there's a difference.
yeah. That's a big difference. It's a big difference. It was just like that. She was running me my life down like from past lives, just running it down, and it was just like when I seen like how she looked then, and then I seen her 2 years previous, and I would remember it was a group of them because we started traveling, and wherever we went, it was somebody part of a cult. But this main person was out of California, so and it was just like they target certain. I'm gonna say some people might not understand what I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure you will. So most star seeds are always a target, and
Right.
and it was just like I felt like I didn't know that I didn't understand that I was that major to the world to the point where you got a whole bunch of you got cults from different people parts of the world and made me a target.
Yeah.
And I think I was disappointed, hurt at this. It's just like you don't know. You
Right.
don't know, like, and then it made me question so much, like, damn, who was I, where I come from, but like,
That part.
yeah,
There you
but
go.
but my on my mom's side, most of my aunties are witches, and my uncles are warlocks.
Right.
So I had like some of my aunties, they dark witches, some of them in between, and then I had like one auntie, she was white, she was a white witch, so and then my uncles, they warlocks, so they high levels in the military,
Mm. Well,
so it
that's
was
where
just,
they be.
yeah, so it was just like even if I express myself, I say I'm a god, right?
Let me, yeah, I'm listening to you. Hold it. I get that. Hold on. Let me, because this window, this light is casting a different. Oh, I like the way I look in natural light. But no, I definitely get you. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes we can when you go, You said something very profound there about it was really to cause you to question, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I that you are mindful of me? Who am I
Yeah,
that you gave this sacred gift to? And
yeah,
what is it that you're supposed to be doing with it?
yeah. And it was crazy, and it was just like I asked one day, like it just like when you don't have so much magic on you, like if you tell sometimes you tell people that and they be like, what? Like it just feel like you under hypnosis. Especially when you have multiple power practitioners doing it,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it might affect you a little bit, but when you a certain being, it ain't gonna turn your life over, but it will affect you to push you into your purpose. And
Right. And that's the thing about it that we sometimes don't get when we are being faced with, you know, the real crux of spiritual warfare in our own lives. And you're thinking, you know, where you were when you accepted, because you did accept it.
mm-hmm,
You accepted the calling.
mm-hmm.
Okay. You might not have been sure what you were doing.
Yeah.
Sometime in your life, you told the Lord that you was available for him to use you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that opened up a whole new world for you to dig deep inside to discover your gift, but understand also why your gift is such a threat to the enemy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I've been having it since a kid. Like I used like I'm not gonna say used to because it's different now. Like, but ability to see and talk, and then when you get, I think as I start getting older, it's like people be like, you just talking or you just doing something. So I think once that come in your mind, it just blocks it out. So now you done cut off communication because now as a kid you looking at it like, okay, maybe something wrong because adults telling you something wrong with that. When the
Hmm.
reality of it is, you gifted, you
Absolutely.
gifted, and it is
So,
just I had to understand that as a purpose, and it was just like the trials. And I remember like even being young, I remember this lady, this witch, cutting off a piece of my hair, and I was like 3 then.
hmm
So it was just like since I was a kid,
hmm
like they've been coming since I was a kid,
coming for your gifts,
coming.
trying to destiny swap with
Yeah,
you.
exactly. That's exactly what they was doing, and I understood that when they was like, I was like, well, what's the purpose? They was like, I'm like, I gotta get this, and I gotta make sure I'm straight, and they be like, well, what you need that for? You gonna be wealthy, so then it let you know what they really here for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because people, these other entities, because I'm not gonna say the people because the people are being used, the
Right.
vehicles are being used, the entities that's entering them, they know,
And that's what we have
they
to,
know.
when we learn, that's what we really, really have to understand. That's why that Bible verse that says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, that is where we work within to really, really get to a place where we can be forgiving, where
Mm-hmm.
we can apply unconditional love in situations where, it's not that we just, people have their
Yeah,
thing about how far you go, with forgiveness. You can forgive somebody, detach, and never
hmm
have anything to do with them. That's
exactly,
what blocking is for. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? But to allow a person to continue to be in your life and you just say, oh, I'm forgiving them and I'm going to let them come back and do the same thing. When you learn something
Yeah,
about people, when you learn something about narcissism, when you learn something about demonology, and realize that if you're dealing with a weak person that's not going to clean their life up once they've gotten, the message, then that demon is going to come back seven
yeah,
times stronger.
yeah,
And you being a spiritual person then have to decide, am I going to forgive my brother 7 times 70 and deal with his 7 times demons?
yeah.
Or am I going to move on and grow and learn how to recognize this, learn how to
Hmm.
use my intuition so that I don't keep wrestling with that same demon. Right.
Yeah, yeah. And that's so true. And I feel like that don't even just be this lifetime. It be other lifetimes. Because you think about these same demons is just they in different bodies as we are. And they tell you like, oh, I kill you every lifetime. Like what?
Right.
Like what? And they just become different and make you think about a whole lot of different things. And like, so what am I doing here to, because sometimes some souls are new, and most of us being here so long, we come here so many times.
I have. I'm on my ninth lifetime, honey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, and then you come in like if like I say like today like other days, and sometimes I think like us when we come here, like the regular humans can become a little bit annoying, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like I think it's more annoying because of our passion. It's like wake up, like listen, look, and it's just like people like la 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 like the Sims,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Because you do have people that don't want to embrace anything, and it could be a deep-seated fear from whatever they went through.
mhm,
Sometimes trauma from a past lifetime will
yeah,
completely wipe them clean,
hmm,
and then they have to decide again.
yeah, yep. And I say that, and then sometimes it's just like say if I say I'm a god, somebody said one day you saying you a god, and I'm like I'm a god,
Right.
and it's just like people think you. Oh well, I'm saying this because people don't realize is what they think is a god is not a god.
Right.
It's an overall. It takes everybody to create the god. It takes the energy of everybody. It's only
The
energy.
energy,
Yeah,
okay? The energy.
the energy
Absolutely.
that creates a higher being.
Hmm.
So it's just like you still need the gods, and they even talk about it in the Bible.
Hmm.
So it's like if I'm saying I'm a god, I'm like, okay, well I'm a pharaoh. I was a pharaoh. And how you know you was a pharaoh? It's like when you come here for a purpose, a high level purpose, and you very high ranked in the spiritual realm, you have once you start opening it up, you get access to Akasha. So it's just like you go learn piece by piece who you are because you need not to fall back into them same things that you've been doing to keep you coming here the lifetime to try to straighten it up.
Hmm. And when you understand the purpose of each lifetime that you're here, because it'll come to you in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
What it's important to be spiritually grounded,
Yeah,
because I don't want to get like into conversation that's way over people's head
yeah.
that is not like right at that
Understand it.
place of understanding,
Mm-hmm.
because you're right, it does talk about it in the Bible. A lot of times people pick the Bible apart for the bad parts, but really and truly the Bible will tell you everything you need to know. I'm not saying it's the only book, but I'm saying it will tell you about aliens, it'll tell you about
Yeah.
ancient civilizations, it'll tell you about different levels of heaven, it'll tell you about different levels of hell. Hello.
Different
So,
levels, and it's all metaphoric. And
yeah.
sometimes it's people interpret it the wrong way,
Hmm.
and it's just like, well, it like say like the people be like, well, some people look at well, a woman being with a woman is a sin,
Hmm.
but then it makes me question this is I tell people, okay, well, most of my lifetime I've been a man, I got the same soul in a different vehicle, so now
Hmm.
you have to explain that to me,
Right.
and then you can't do that, and you sit here and that be your main course because in Deuteronomy it tells you a man can't sleep in the same house as a woman on her cycle.
Right. Those things. And I think people get so caught up in semantics and law when they realize when Jesus came, said to destroy the law, because there's so many things, what it say about the eye of a needle, a camel going through the eye of a needle,
Mm-hmm.
like that's all. It's yes, you can have to deal with it or whatever if that's what you want to base your life around, all of those religious practices and trying to pinpoint different sins in the flesh. But really, when God is more concerned with our soul,
Yeah.
you know, Because you can be married to somebody for years and years, but if you don't love them and you treat them bad, then what part of the law are you actually keeping?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, in your so you said that some of this, some of your spirituality has kind of leaked over into affecting your career.
Yeah.
So, do you believe that it affected your career in a way that that you couldn't shake back from it, or was that effect to steer you into a new direction?
I believe it was an effect to steer me in a new direction because once I came back, like you could tell, like my energy was a threat, and
Right.
it was a different. And a lot of people can't sit in the same room I sit in. And it is what it is. What I had to learn. So a lot of people fell off. A lot of people fell back, and it was just like, damn. But long as I was doing crazy stuff or all out my head, then it was just like, yeah, everybody cheering it on. But it was like when I changed my life majorly and opened my eyes, it was just like it kind of. But
What
I had
crazy stuff
to
like what? Can you give us an example without, mentioning no names?
like I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say an issue with a past person that used to be a part of the promotion when I was younger and all that different type of stuff is like you can tell when a person have envy, be envious and jealous of you because if you sit back and listen, they go tell you everything why they jealous of you,
Yeah.
and it's like they went back to like 16, 17 years ago, yeah, and because of this, I'm like, that's what you mad at. And it's
Right.
like sometimes people can want to be you and just don't understand what being you is like.
Hmm.
You want to be me and you just don't know because privately I deal with it. Publicly, it's you don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like when you hidden in plain sight, it's I don't know. It's like a battle, but it's a learning lesson for you because like for me, it's learning how to control myself, learning how to control my emotions, and sometimes just keeping quiet.
Right. You know what? That is so true. That's one thing that I've been teaching on lately on my program is about taming the inner beast. A lot of this self-awareness, these ascensions and activations that we go through is really to raise the energy, to bring out the inner big G,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And to really confront that inner me, the enemy,
Mm-hmm.
that where that entity that you're confronted with is there to challenge you and there to confront you and there to even trigger you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Really to see if you are who you say you are. If you have submitted, you know, to Christ consciousness, this mind of Christness and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and also believing and
Yeah.
knowing the depth of your power
Yeah.
and how you could, how it could turn out if you allow
Yeah.
the enemy to take over. If you get triggered, then somebody can say, see, I told you Shy Trotter wasn't shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's what they're there to do, to try to, expose you for being really the exact opposite of what
Yeah.
you are.
That's exactly what it do. And then another way you have to be disciplined, especially when you become a person that advances in divination. You have to be very disciplined in that because the thing about it is, even in divination, spiritually, we still have laws. So we doing something that then we still have to go before the judge for that. So we have to understand that in spiritual. But by us being so powerful, you could piss us off and we'll turn your whole world upside down.
Yeah.
And you won't even know why. You won't know why everything going bad for you. It's because, that's why I tell people you gotta be mindful of people that, you piss off because they would have called me a couple of years back and pissed me off. Then I would have pissed their whole family off. So it's just like
They don't
you
be
have
knowing.
to have
I
a
got a I got a story that I want to share about somebody that pissed me off.
discipline.
No, for real. And
I'm just,
but I was trying to explain this to my daughter. Okay, so somebody made me some custom press on nails. And if you know me, I love my nails, right?
hmm
And I'm not really the type to wear press on nails, right? But
hmm
somebody made me some custom press on nails, and they was not, they didn't fit.
hmm
So I asked her to make me like two more nails for each hand, and then we'll be square.
hmm
Well, I paid $45 for some press on nails. Now, mind you.
Yeah.
So she told me no, she wasn't gonna remake them, and like I was like, let me tell you something. So much happened to those nails. I sold them to my supervisor, okay, because she had small hands, but I only charged her $20 for them, so she sent me the money.
Uh-huh.
I go to put the nails in the mail, right?
Uh-huh.
Months later, I'm forgetting about it. Of course, I got upset. I told my daughter about it and everything, and that I was not never gonna deal with this woman again because she did not honor her word. She didn't do me right. This, that, and the other. I was really upset about it, but I let it go. Right, I let it go.
Uh-huh.
I really did let it go. And then, so, but
Kind of sort.
all of this time, over some months, right? I didn't even know because I had moved to a new team. My supervisor never got the nails, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I had sent them, I had mailed them when I was at my sister's house. And they came back in the mail to my sister's house. This was like a couple of months later. So I
Yeah,
open
it's
up the
fine.
thing and I'm looking at them. And I'm looking up, these are nails that I mailed to my supervisor. So I called her. I'm like, why you didn't ever tell me you got these nails? Oh, you didn't get, she was like, oh, well, I didn't think about it, whatever. I sent her $20 back. I'm like, okay. So the nails got put in the trash. I think my stepdaddy put the nails in the trash. So
Uh-huh.
the nails was in the trash and they gone on with the trash, right?
Yeah.
Couple months later, now here for Christmas, my daughter brought me a new set of nails, telling me that the lady was feeling so bad about the nails that she sent me a new set and they fit, right?
Uh-huh.
So I had to tell my mom, I had to tell my daughter, what happened. And she was like, Mama, did you put a spell on that woman? I said, no, I didn't put a spell on that woman about them nails. I said, she was just feeling guilty because she had ran into divinity, okay?
Exactly.
And she knows she had did divinity wrong, honey. And you know what? She might have had nightmares and all kind of hauntings in her
Oh yeah.
soul about them nails until she
Yeah.
made it right, child. It was like a Miss Celie story.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, you do right by me.
Everything you do go crumble.
But she sent me some there. I had to share that, but I get, but it be the little stuff like that, Shy.
Yep.
It can affect you in every area, and when you know the type of power you possess, you have to let stuff go.
Yeah, you have to. You
Yeah.
have to, you know,
Because
and
it's
it
not even about you at that point. It now is
exactly.
about, it's not that you sinned against me, you sinned against God.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I hang on to it, then he not gonna get you like he need to get you.
Yeah.
He's not gonna teach you that lesson. He's not gonna teach you about your bad business
Mm,
practices, which is what you need to learn, right?
yeah.
He's not gonna teach you about your customer service, and you're out here trying to call yourself a business owner.
Mm,
Okay, so that is gonna. So to me, I feel like as a business owner, however God had to deal with her about that, she was
yeah.
able to make it right without me holding a grudge about it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that can go in so many areas of our life, whether it's business, family, where we
Mm,
learn to let stuff go and we learn to forgive and move
mm,
on. Because if we don't, then we are tying the hands of God
yeah.
in our own lives.
So we
And
still got them cords.
Mhm.
We
We
still
have
got cords attached.
right.
So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I just love talking about stuff that that I love
Oh
talking.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So in this community, I know you said, people have kind of like, in this community, in this LGBT lifestyle, a lot of times spirituality and faith and our belief system, is not really, embraced. Have you run into that?
well, they don't embrace it. I feel like this is what I feel like about it. They don't embrace it because people are what we call it psychology, imagination. They go with whatever somebody tell them. They don't do research. They don't do it themselves. They whatever. It's just like it's okay being programmed, and you can feel it in your soul that you know something wrong, and it's just oh well, my mama said, you know,
Right.
and it's just like like me, like you even with my mother, like I'm very respectful, but even with my mother, hey mom, listen, this when it come to my life, this is how it goes, you
Right.
know, and it's just like people in the community they play like like it's a they don't like it or this because a lot of them come to me. I mentor a lot of them privately. A lot of them, some of them I done help them find a family, like they passed on family. Some of them I done help find out what happened to them, you know. And it's just like you don't believe in it, but you want me to use my abilities to help you.
Wow.
And it's just like it's like somebody came to me one time. They was like, well, I hope you don't think this is crazy. And I'm like, we don't never think anything is crazy.
Okay.
And
I
she was like,
believe it everything. I believe it all.
yeah. And she was like, she said, well, one of my ancestors is King Tut, and I keep having visions. King Tut keep telling me to come talk to you and about a piece of jewelry. You know, I'm like, the piece of jewelry that y'all looking for, you not go find it.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be unless somebody go into the bottom of the vacony.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find it then. But like just floating in the world, you'll never find it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like you talk. People have the ability to be clairvoyant, clairaudient, and different levels of it. And sometimes I think they scare people.
Right. It does, because I've definitely helped people who have gifts and people who have been hospitalized, had to do, have gotten put on mental health medication. And I'm not saying that there is not a place for that, but when you're dealing with spiritual things, sometimes it's hard for people to make the connection that
Mm-hmm.
you're not crazy. Yes, you hear voices,
Yeah, yeah,
listen to them. but not to make light of it, because I know that there are people that have mental health issues.
yeah.
But for me, I think in our society we approach mental health so much with the medical from the medical stand for medicate them, put them away, time up of whatever. That's ain't that what they did with the man that was full of demons back at
Yeah.
the tomb where Jesus cast out legion of
Mm-hmm.
demons from him. He was inhabited by a legion of demons, but he had to be restrained. He had
Yeah,
to be chained. He was hurting himself. All of the symptoms of mental health that people go
yeah.
through. He was being tortured by demons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is such a possession that you can imagine. Jesus cast those demons out into a herd of pigs,
Uh-huh.
and the pigs had to go drown themselves. Even an unclean animal such as a pig cannot handle demonic possession. So what can you imagine that an actual person can handle?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it and we're actually put here to recognize that. And a lot of times, the same way those demons started acting up when they saw Jesus is how they start acting when they see us.
yeah. And you know, and what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of demons, even like people of our nature and but people of our status spiritually being high rank, a lot of demons we have control over. They
Absolutely.
they actually become helpers. So it's just like, but it's always them demons that want to just keep testing the water.
Right. And even that, Shy, we'll have to continue this too. Even that has more to do with you
Mm-hmm.
as a spiritual being and your balance in light and darkness and your ability to see in the dark.
Yeah,
Okay. and
Definitely.
to not be afraid of the dark, to fear no evil. Okay, that's what made Jesus so powerful, because he didn't fear the evil. And that's a lot of times where people get to that, because they fear the evil, they fear the
Yeah.
darkness. And when you have someone like us, we have to have, you know, dealt with the darkness ourselves,
Mhm.
even to be able to, you know,
Yep.
approach a
Navigate.
person who might be filled with that and really don't have anywhere to turn, and might even feel like people won't believe them, people won't,
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. Yeah. And I say that all the time. Even the story of the Noah and the Ark. You know, I was telling people, like I was telling my wife, I'm like, the story of Noah and the Ark. I remember the story.
Hmm.
It was Atlantis. You know, this,
Right.
and that's where they actually got the story from.
Hmm.
And like people, it's like even when we talk about Egypt,
Hmm.
you know, America was Egypt, and it's just like so many things, and it's just like it's so easy, but these demons don't want them to know because it's just like, and then it's like we fighting spiritually, and because I tell people when you go to sleep, your soul don't sleep, your soul don't need no rest, your soul leave your body. And that's why some people don't wake up because when it's time to come back, they say, "No, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to
Hmm.
go." You
That's why
know,
it's important to get good sleep. I
yeah,
don't like to leave my body. I really don't. I like to just go to sleep. I rarely even dream, because when I through meditation, and then if I do have any kind of dream, I usually don't remember it. And then if I have a dream that you do remember, it'll be a message or something.
yeah. And it just like it's just like I tell people like when your mission's different, it just sometimes you just be like, man, like damn, you ain't got nobody else. You can't call on nobody else.
If
I
not you, then who?
Yeah, like I gotta go. You can't call on nobody else. And I say like even like when I dream or what we consider astral travel, it's just like I'm always somewhere trying to save children. And it's like I can wake up and 2-3 days I see it on the news.
Mm. Well,
Oh,
maybe that's what you need to be doing in your waking life. When we
yeah,
go through our different lifetimes, depending on, I don't know if you know your life path number, but there's a specific
eight,
purpose.
eight.
You're eight. Okay, you coming on. Okay, yes. So it, even with mine being a nine, being the humanitarian,
Mhm.
everything I do is for the greater good. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? If when I run in even to one person, if you touch one person, the magnitude of just the encounter with you, you
mhm.
know, these people, this person is going to encounter many, 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 many people in their life, but it's their encounter with you
Mhm.
that's going to set them off on a new direction.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You know, and that's what I learned detachment. I learned detachment a long
Yeah.
time ago. I learned that I'm not here. I'm not here to be a foundation in other people's lives. Like I have my family and everything, but my wife, she's a high priest too, also.
Okay.
So and most of the people that I encounter outside of that, it's only through passing. So a lot of times, sometimes we get attached to people, and we don't know how to detach at when the season is over. You know,
Mm.
and then that's when we causing problems. Oh well, they said this about you. They said this about you. No, it came up because it was time to detach. It wasn't nothing else to talk about.
Hmm.
And you know, a lot of times we get confused. And then after that, we realize we getting into it with people.
Yeah. Wow. You know what, Sean? I've really enjoyed this, talk with you. I kind of knew pretty much the direction, when
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But, as far as let's wrap it up, coming back full circle to the community impact of the brick, and why is it that you believe that, how did the brick contribute to the LGBT community in Dallas while it was in operation, and why do you believe it holds such a special place in people's hearts?
Well, because the brick was at that time, even going back, it was one of the biggest melanated clubs. It wasn't owned by a melanated person, but
Right.
melanated, that's where all the melanated people went.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you think about when it started back then, it really wasn't social media. So everybody knew the link up was at the brick on Friday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it just like it played a big part because it helped people build careers, like even being on platforms on TV, doing big pageants, they benefited. And then they had benefit shows for people that wanted to go and couldn't go, and they played a big part in that for a long time, and longevity in it. So they gave back a lot. They
Mm-hmm.
gave back to the community a lot. And that's one thing about me. Like, I think I'm concerned more about people than I do with myself at times.
Right.
So it's just like I want to see people do good, and they played a big part in that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Great to be a part of that. So
As
it
far as on the show lineup, I see that you have Shamar Collins Dupree hosting, and
yeah.
then with the lineup, are these all brick aficionados and people from that time, or do you have anyone on the show um, more current as far as maybe has not been out or for just maybe the last 5 years? Because I know the brick's been gone for at least what, 10.
Yeah, since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
yeah, most of the people that's on the show actually is you got some of the legends that's on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and you have some of the people from the newer brick. So they was under me, uh,
Okay.
in that era. So a lot of people that was from the older brick, a lot of them have passed on.
Wow.
So then you still have your newer people, and then you still have like people like Jody Malone
Mm-hmm.
and of that nature. So
So for the ones who have passed on, would there be some sort of a tribute or remembrance to them, or are you mainly dealing with the ones that are still here to pass on that legacy to some of the younger people?
yeah, we're gonna we've been trying to gather up pictures and everything from people that passed over. I know Betty Neal keep a lot of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, her and both like sometimes we lose focus of the pictures, don't know where they at, but so we've been reaching out to them about getting everything that we need from them because they are the foundation. Like even doing the brick reunion, I made sure to, even though I was a part of the new brick, I still had to make sure I paid respect and reached out to Betty Neal and Flawless and asked for permission
Right.
to do the brick reunion. So
Wow.
it was like, oh, I'm gonna do the brick reunion. I had to ask for permission because it was just all out of respect.
Well, what does that respect entail when you say ask for permission as far as that's concerned?
Because they played a major part. They navigated. They paved the way for
Mm-hmm.
like myself. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's like me going into it's like me creating a legacy, and then
Right.
somebody trying to come up and do celebrate the legacy without even
Without you,
me.
okay, I
So
see.
it
Because
yeah
they are the legacy,
they
so I
were the
can
legacy.
look at it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's only right that I had their permission.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, there's a lot to be learned and uncovered here in the next year, Shy. I really hope that you do, join me back again and we can talk about some of these spiritual things. Okay. The
Definitely.
doors are always open here at Soul School Saturday on Hot Pink Pride Media, and I would love if you would take us out.
Yeah, man. Make sure February the 22nd. Make sure that y'all tune in. Club Manhattan will be honoring Betty Neal, Bowlegs, Ruby Scott, and MC Flawless Eyes, the ones that paved the way for the brick. So make sure that y'all tune in. We'll be at 2715 Meadow Street. That's Dallas, Texas. Doors open at 10 o'clock. It's BYOB. You must be 25 plus to get in, man. All tables are sold out. If we do have a table, it's only one table left. And so we appreciate everybody. So make sure February the 22nd, which is 222, make sure that y'all in the building, man. Get there early because it will be a packed house.
All right. I love it. Well, thank you guys again for joining us, and we will see you on the next Soul School session.
If you scared, go to church this boring for the week. I sleep, I breathe, and dream the life of me. I peep it, don't need it, stay bossy, I lead it. Throwing shots, I eat it, I eat it, I eat it. Got 'em mad that the swag all black, but I'm mixed with a piece in my mom and my dad. Yeah, they mad cause that shit don't even fit.